Describe a language you learned. What is this language? How did you learn it? Was it difficult to learn it? And explain why you decided to learn this specific language. This is LanguageHelp, and this is another cue card discussion. Now, a cue card can be about a person, a time, a place, an object, or an activity. This cue card is about an object, which is the language itself. To answer the first cue, the question is asking you to choose a language. So this could be German, English, French, Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, Russian, you choose. The second cue is asking you about the process of learning it. How did you learn it? Did you use vocabulary lists? Did you repeat a lot? Did you take speaking classes? Did you learn online or did you go to school? The third cue is how difficult was the process? Why was it difficult? Was it about the cost, the money, or do you have a bad memory? Maybe you have a lack of discipline? What was the problem? Now the fourth cue is about why did you choose this specific language? Is there a motivation? Was it competitiveness? Was it peer pressure? Was it being proud to speak this exact language? Maybe you have a short story you can tell your examiner. Now let's see our example answer. I was in college when I first decided I wanted to speak Japanese. The whole thing started as a requirement to obtain enough credits to graduate, and all of my classmates also had to choose a second language to learn. In the beginning, I found it difficult to learn Japanese, but I started by learning essential words and expressions to use in class. And then my understanding of the linguistic structures deepened and developed, and that's when the ball started really rolling. The challenging part for me was in getting used to the writing system. Japanese has over 2,000 kanjis, or written characters, that are used in everyday life, newspapers, and schools. The bottom line is, it all comes down to how committed you really are. I chose Japanese because it was different from everything else that was available as a course. The Japanese class was also much smaller, which translated into more teacher-student interaction and training focus. But I think that the ability to speak a foreign language, to interact with someone from a different culture, is what really kept me motivated. If something is a requirement, then you need it. Requirement, requirement, requirement. A teaching license is a requirement to apply for teaching positions. To obtain is to get, to acquire, or to secure something. You need to obtain the correct papers to be able to drive a car. Essential. Essential. Essential means important. It's essential to stay up to date on current political issues. It's essential to stay up to date on current political issues. To develop an understanding or to deepen an understanding are collocations, and they mean that you understand something more than before. Spending a year overseas deepened my understanding of other cultures. You can set the ball rolling, get the ball rolling, or start the ball rolling. It's an idiom, and it means that you get something started. I usually set the ball rolling by being the first one to talk in meetings. Challenging. When something is challenging, it's testing your abilities. My new job is challenging but very rewarding. My new job is difficult but has its perks. The bottom line is, the fundamental and most important factor is, I need more practice. If it all comes down to one factor, then that one factor is the most important factor in an argument. It all comes down to. For example, there are many ways to look at a company's failure, but it all comes down to really one thing: a lack of leadership. The sentence means that the lack of leadership is the most important factor in the company's failure. To translate into is another way to say to result in. Months of studying translated into very good grades. Months of studying resulted in very good grades. To motivate is to provide someone with a reason for doing something. If you're motivated, then you have a reason for doing something. So the desire to succeed motivated Sam to study more. This was our cue card for today. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you enjoyed our lesson, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing, and see you next time.